Tamers, started up again today, and starting off this week is another Decklist-a-thon to count down to the next format. In this case, be going over some of the BT17 format decks as we start counting down towards the now official release of EX7 this Friday. And well, out pure irony and a bit of deja vu to our last Decklist-a-thon for EX6, following the Digimon deck, our frontrunner for this Decklist-a-thon will be the new version of Loogamon, following the good boy as he now finishes his evolution. And obviously, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And now we go into it. For the eggs, it's still the good old reliable Balmon to go into your evolutions from your discards. And going straight from there on to the rookies. With this rookie lineup being slightly changed from last list to incorporate the new stuff, it's still, for me, my core still runs full playset of BT14 Luga and a full playset of BT16 Uko for the search engine, and now running BT15 Luga as a one of, with BT14 Luga being the obvious main Luga for the deck, and establish and chaining out your AGs from hand or trash. Uko being a good search engine for the deck, as well. The new deck now sort of pivots into the DNA digivolving with the new top end. Obviously, you'd want to, dig for your pieces. While BT15 Luga is a one-of for name reasons, and also the fringe case of its beneficial inheritable, given the pivot for the deck. Moving forward, onto the little fours. Given my preference, I end up skipping over the Luga line and end up pivoting over into, the Doru line, since it's also Sons of Chaos. With this being the, first lineup being BT16 Dorugamon as the new main level 4 of the deck, since it is a Sons of Chaos trait level 4, and it can go off of Loogamon, as well as being another form of draw engine while also setting up trash, giving its one evolve, and then you also get the beneficial taunting when needed. And following that up is the BT17 Decklist-a-thon, which is now also Sons of Chaos trait. This being a new, form of protection for the Dorugamon line, for the Doru line, given that the Dex variants now can literally Death X evolve from trash, as the new Dex line is able to evolve from trash if the regular version were to ever be deleted. And Dex-a-thon here also ends up being another form of beneficial engine support for the deck, as its when evolving allows you to trash a card to then draw one, further digging and setting up trash, while also being a choice effect if it evolved from Doruga or evolved from trash to pop a cost 4 lower, and then grants the stack reboot from building up. And then from there, to supplement the search engine, is 3 copies of BT15 Tyrannomon as another blocker body, and search engine for the deck. And then obviously for options, you also could play around with ratios while also implementing BT14 Lugar and BT16 Lugar into your mix to toolbox it up. And going into level 5s, it ends up being for the most part, being the standard fare. That being a full playset of BT15 Solugar and BT14 Hellugar as the main runners. Hellugar being your, well, removal option and also further digging. And Solugar being your main, well, evolution engine. And lastly, for level 5, I run one copy of the BT10 Fenrloogamon. This is mostly because of its first effect. When it's discarded by one of your effects, you are able to then Digivolve your Digimon into a purple Digimon with the Undead or Dark Animal trait from trash by paying its cost. And this synergizes very well with the deck, given that, well, you discard cards for effects, and the Fenrloogamon pretty much allows you to, well, recycle a piece from trash as long as it meets the criteria. And going from there, on to the main, well, highlights of the deck. As going into the level 6s of the deck, I have now fully replaced with BT14 Fenrlooga, now being replaced with its new purple-red counterpart from BT17, whose one evolve allows you to, well, if you have AG underneath, you're able to then be able to revive a Fenrloogamon or Kazuchimon from trash without paying cost. And then at the next, which ends up being a temporary body that ends up returning to the hand. And also has the alt turns when one of your Digimon or Tamers that have the Sentinels of Chaos trait or Pulsemon in text is played, you get to delete a 10,000 DP or less Digimon on the opponent's side, and that ends up pairing well, given its partner also being the BT17 Kazuchimon as, well, discard fodder and, well, DNA partner for the deck. As the new Kazuchimon allows you to, well, you don't really get to do anything with it, given that you don't really benefit from when digivolving since you can't really digivolve into it. Though you still get to benefit the end of turn since, given how you play, you will be able to trigger the end of turn in addition to other combos. With the end of turn being that if you have 3 more security cards, when your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn, and you have 3 or fewer, you recover 1 from deck. Then one of your Digimon may attack your opponent's Digimon. Obviously within this lineup, given what BT17 Fenrlooga does, you also could actually have the option to throw BT14 Fenrlooga into the mix. As well, you pretty much will then have the broken preventing turn from moving over until the opponent's memory is at 3. While Fenrlooga, well, that ability for the BT17 Fenrlooga has now become its inheritable. As well, that ends up making way for the new high-end for the deck, as I end up running 3 copies of the new Fenrlooga Takumi Kazuchi as the new boss monster of the deck. And yes, as you can see, I end up running the chase one in here as well. Well, with Fenrir Takumi Kazuchi, you pretty much are able to, this ends up being another discard fodder for you in the game, as you don't really need to see this in hand to evolve into this from hand, necessarily. As well, from trash, it's able to DNA its required materials while it's in trash, and then, well, when digivolving, one of your opponents gets minus 16,000 DP, and then if you DNA'd, you get to set the memory to 3 immediately, and then if a tamer is in the Digimon sources, you gain 1 memory and recover 1. Pretty much allowing you to still keep turn as you're under the effect, well, the now inheritable effect of Fenrloogamon, preventing turn from being moved over until the opponent's at 3, while also being able to recover 1 memory. And then you also get the added benefit of a no stipulation of a non-once per turn, trash the top card of your security, to then trash the opponent's security, pretty much allowing you to go for Hail Marys, while also benefiting off of Kazuchimon's inheritable as well. As, well, when a card is removed from your security once per turn, this gets the Fenrloogamon name, gets to dish out minus 8,000 DP for the turn. And excuse the sudden jump, as my camera ran out of battery. But yep, overall, Takumi Kazuchi is the, well, overwhelming presence on the board, as, well, every time you attack into it, Takumi Kazuchi is pretty much able to control the board through Kazuchimon, as you will whittle away at the opponent's security while sacrificing your own. Well, continuing from there, on to the Tamer lineup. With this deck now running a total of, well, 10 Tamers, though it being a full playset of the usual suspect Analog Youth, now 2 copies of the 3-cost BT17 AG Subaraya, and a full playset of AG's, well, hacker name being Codecracker, 4 copies of Codecracker Fang, essentially being the 4-cost AG of the deck. As well, with this new AG pretty much being the memory setter of the deck, as well as granting normal Mind Link abilities of Alliance and Blocker, which further adds to the aggressive nature of the deck, as once you go up into Takumi Kazuchi and have a Alliance target, you technically end up getting a, well, removing 3 security in one go, 2 off of Alliance, and then 1 off of the 1 attacking effect. With this, well, pretty much you have free reign over ratios, as you could pretty much adjust the ratios of, well, the 80 names, really. Well, and to finish off the deck, for options, I simply run 2 copies of the BT16 option, the Demon Wolf of the Castle of 9 Wolves, as well, the searching option for the deck, as you get to add 1 Sons of Chaos trait, and then bot deck the rest. Then you get to curate trash by discarding 1 if you searched. And then off of that, you also get the benefit of the delay, given that most of the deck is Sons of Chaos, as you're able to revive a Sons of Chaos trait from trash at a reduced play cost of 2. And obviously, if you want to tweak ratios, another thing you could add to the mix would be Wisdom Training for the option to search and to have a more shallow search, but have the ability to reduce evolution cost. And since I don't really have it on me as well, another option would be X Antibody Pro form, given that most of this deck, by its own nature, is still an X Antibody deck, Therefore, you can reduce evolution cost while also being able to, well, recover resources due to pro forms and healer roll. And that's it for the deck itself. Now on to combos. Going into combos now, for the most part for your starting hand, you'd obviously want to see 2 rookies on board. Though obviously Uko and BT16 Uko and BT14 Luga are the main rookies you'd want to see starting off. And then an option, and from there, it's pretty much just seeing your pieces. Obviously, you'd want to see Daruga, or alternatively, Dex Daruga if you have to. Or heck, if you even see it early, just for the early search, you also could go into, well, hard play out BT15 Tyranno as a search blocker body. Then from there, you'd want to see your level 5s and, well, pretty much try and wait until you see Fenrlooga in hand before popping off, as throughout the game, you pretty much have a lot of discard fire as you go through the deck. Though, secondly, would essentially be setting up your tamers, like the AGs and Youth, to set up board, and then Demon Wolf to help search. Since going through this deck as well, you pretty much have a number of discard fodder to go off of. As pretty much, as you go build conditions board, pretty much Skullbaluki, Tamer, the AG Tamers, Kazuchi and Takumi Kazuchi, heck, even Tyranno, Dex Daruga, and your level 5s and level 6 are all discard fodder to combo off of, as well. Battlemon's going to do all the work for you, as you're then able to, well, digivolve into them after you've discarded them. What's called Baluki, as previously stated, being a, well, technical 5th Battlemon, although limited, as the Skullbaluki specifically looks to be discarded from hand and is looking for an undead or dark animal trait, which a good amount of the lineup is, thankfully. As well, pretty much just want to create a board state where you could pretty much pop off of Loogamon, off of a open Loogamon, while also having Coldcracker Fang, pretty much establishing 3 memory, heck, even Agiori on board, just to further add to the insult, as, and the most optimized and the most popped off board state, really. You pretty much move out Luga, and then cheat out an AG from hand to then pretty much start off your main phase at 5 memory. And then from there, just pretty much build board. Daruga to, well, be able to draw more cards and setting up trash again, or even triggering Balmon from there. With Daruga being a good protection measure for the Darugamon on board to prevent all of the stuff from leaving. And then pretty much going into Solugar to further set up trash with 2 cards And if you didn't delete, you pretty much get to revive a level 4 Sons of Chaos trait from trash. And pretty much work from there, as you also could time this with the Balmon and Hairball when needed to pretty much pitch the Fenrlooga from hand and immediately go into it if you can't immediately resolve the ability to go into Fenrlooga for free. And then from there, Fenrlooga would then trigger and revive a Kazuchi from trash. And if it passes turn, you pretty much can trigger order it in a number of ways as well. Fenrlooga will then trigger once Kazuchimon gets played out, blowing up a 10,000 DP body. Then Kazuchimon gets a trigger, since at the end of your turn, it checks security and, well, does all the normal checks. Can then immediately attack something using Fenrlooga as a body and itself as a line target if need be. Or you pretty much just go straight into Takumi Kazuchi from there, now that Kazuchimon's been played out. And practically now, all of your effects have now reset. And allowing Takumi Kazuchi to become an overwhelming presence on the board. As it attacks, it gets to remove security and has the ability to reboot as well. Well, that's it for my deck profile for the new updated Fenrlooga Takumi Kazuchi. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Cyberjaw signing off.